think the topic of this video was going to be what's your story? How did I get into motorcycling? See, look, this is a danger spot. This is why cyclists should never come in between big trucks like this, because that's how you get squished. We're going back about, how many years now? We're going back about 6 years now. You know, having a chat with my cousin and my friend, and you know, we're sort of talking about the idea of getting into motorbiking. You know, my cousin's like, yeah, let's do it. My friend's like, yeah, let's do it. And I'm like, yeah, let's do it. So we decide to, you know, book our CBTs and go for our CBTs and think, yeah, great, this is going to be cool. Now, of course, at this point, I'd never ridden a motorbike before. Get to the CBT place, and it was held at a school. Instructors, got a couple of instructors there, you know, giving the usual sort of safety talks and that kind of thing, and drawing diagrams on a whiteboard and what you should do, what you shouldn't do, and then he takes us outside and he shows us, gives us a basic crash course on how to, you know, where the brakes are, where the gears are, that sort of thing, and shows us what happens if you put on the front brake and you're in a turn, which always ends up badly. And so yeah, and then we get on the bikes, and I have a go, and you know, you start simple, you know, you just sort of like pull forward and then stop, and then you see if you can then just sort of go around the field, the football pitch thing, so you can do a lap while going into second gear, and once you've mastered that, you then do like figure of eights, that sort of thing. Now at this point I was loving the experience. I was thinking, oh, this is really cool, you know, I could just like go and be in the car park all day and just practicing around at slow speeds, just getting a hang of how to ride it, because you know, everything's just like new to me, you know, especially the gears. You know, it was like okay, so you kick down for first and then up for second, third, fourth and fifth, right, okay. You know, that, you know, when you've never ridden before, that takes some getting used to. But then of course you realise, once you've been riding for a while, you realise that it's actually, you know, completely and utterly obvious, and why shouldn't it be that way? But I've, you know, when you're sort of turning the bike, you know, I had no problem sort of leaning the bike left and turning left, but for some reason turning right seemed to be a problem for me. I don't know why, it was just something in my brain was kicking in going, no, you're going to fall over, and so something was going on there, and I spoke to I told the instructors about it, saying, why am I finding it difficult to just turn right then I'm turning left? You know, it's the same thing, just the opposite. And they go, yeah, a lot of people have that, and apparently it's quite normal. Apparently it's just something to do with the way your brain's wired. And then, you know, so I'm feeling that, you know, I need more practice. I need more time in the car park just to get used to it. But then he goes, right, we're going out on the road and we're going to have a practice. I'm like, whoa, easy there. Out on the road. And, you know, so I went with it, you know, and at this point I knew that I needed more time. So we got on the road, and we've got like, he's like one instructor per two pupils. We're riding around, I'm following this instructor, yeah, and then we get to this really sharp turn to the right. It was like a 90-degree turn. It was quite slow roads. So I'm thinking, oh man, how do I do this? So I'm thinking I'm going too quick. So what do? I go around the corner, and as soon as I go around the corner, I'm right in the bend, and I decide to, you know, slow down by using my front brake, and I'm like, and what happens? I go straight on the floor, and that's it. I'm off the bike. I'm you know, scrape my knee on the concrete, but I was only wearing jeans, so, you know, cut my hands open, that sort of thing. From that point forward, that's it. I did ride back, but my riding had completely changed. I was like sticking to the gutter. All confidence that I had, you know, just gone. That's it. And that was it. All that confidence just went out the window, and I was just really slow, sticking to the gutter and letting all traffic pass me, and going really slowly, and you know, just couldn't wait to get back to the bike shop, which is where we set out from. And yeah, that was an interesting experience. And from that point on, I was, you know, this was quite a few years ago now, and I was just like, right, that's it. Nope, I'm a car driver all the way. you know, I'd driven cars for a number, you know, many years, and you know, just thought, nope, this isn't for me. I'm going to stick to four wheels. You know, I'd sort of mentally made up my mind that that's what I'm going to do. And you know, and then I waited for my friend and my cousin to do their CBTs, because obviously I didn't get through. And so then a year goes by, and I see my cousin, you know, he's coming to my house on his 125, you know, on his L plates, and I see him riding back and forth, and it's like, you know, and then that gets me thinking again, should I give it another go? Should I give it another go? I don't know. Oh, easy. And I'm thinking, should I give this another go? Should I give biking another go? But then what happens is that my cousin gets around to taking his test, and unfortunately has quite a nasty accident on his test, and you know, it turned out that the road he was on was going around a left bend, and it turns out that the left bend was marked as a 40 miles an hour, and then it was one of those bends that just tightens up really sharply as you're in the bend. And Honda Goldwing, I think that's a Goldwing. It's massive. It's like a car on two wheels. Now it's very tempting when you see a police car go by just to follow him, but the one thing to be wary of is, whilst all drivers will get out of his way, everybody's going to be returning to their positions, so they're not going to be expecting a bike to be coming fast. So got to watch that one. Yeah, so unfortunately my cousin has a nasty off on his test, which was really bad. You know, fractured his ankles, in plaster for months, and you know, that was like a second, you know, for me that was like, that's it, nope, definitely not, nope, definitely not for me, biking thing's not for me. But then what happens is after he's better and everything, he you know, gets back on it, and gets himself a nice black Ninja 250, and I'm loving the look of this machine. I see it, and I'm like, oh man, this is a beautiful machine, and it really is. A Ninja 250 is a lovely bike. I'm thinking, So then I get a job in London, and this is why you should look for gaps in traffic, because of people that do things like this. I'm like commuting to London by train, and it's just driving me nuts. The fact that you get on the train, you don't have anywhere to sit. It's a very uncomfortable journey. You're packed in like sardines with tons of other commuters who are reading the Metro, and you have like 10 copies of the Metro stuffed in your face from all different angles, and you know, it's just you know, it's not nice. It really isn't nice. And not only that, you're paying an extraordinary amount of money for this pleasure every month. So I'm taking a train to London every day, and every time I'm, you know, and it's a crazy journey. It's like an hour and 40 minutes, like each way, to get to work, and you know, and you know, so it's like over 3 hours travelling per day, and it's just getting a bit crazy, really. So you've got to drive the car to the station, park the car, pay for parking for the day, then go wait for the train, and endure the train journey with the crazy sardine packed, you know, joining all the other commuters, and making sure that you must not make eye contact with absolutely anybody, because that is a sin. And then the walk from the train station to the office, which is like half hour, and it's just a bit much, really, like this 3-stage journey, which I just wasn't really up for. And so every time I'm walking to the office, I'm seeing these bikes go by, these guys on scooters, and small bikes, big bikes, and so what happens is I book then another CBT, this time on a scooter. I do it on a Honda Dillon 125 scooter, because I was thinking, because I remember the last CBT, and I remember the gears at the time were a bit much for me to think about, and I just wanted to focus on just, you know, my road awareness and that sort of thing. That's what I did, took my CBT on a scooter, made it through, passed it, and you know, and it was great. And so, but then of course another year goes by, and I do nothing about the fact that I've now got a CBT certificate. Oh, that guy's getting a bit close. Easy, mate, what's the impatience? I've got my CBT certificate now, and I decide to buy myself a bike, so I go for a CBF 125, you know. So yeah, I then basically get this bike delivered to my house. I start riding in the garages. I practice sort of very small steps, so getting used to the gears, so getting from first to second and first to second to third, really, really small, getting used to the way the gears work, getting used to the back brake and the front brake and when you should use them, and reading tons and tons of articles on the best way to ride a motorbike and all that sort of stuff, and so I start small, so I start like one or 2 days just starting up in my road, in the garages, and yeah, that's right, don't step out in front of me, please. Yeah, so I then build up slowly. I then venture out further once I've got the hang of my local roads. I then do little laps, and now by this time I'm still having issues turning right, so I force myself to go around my block, but turning right, and I do nothing but right turns. I then venture out further and further and further. I start making rides to town and back, and then before I know it, I'm riding to my cousin's house, which is like a 20-mile journey. Normally I'll take the motorway, but I'm on L plate, so I can't use the motorway. So it's a longer journey taking the back roads. That's pretty much how I started, really. There's lots of things I discovered there, because I really do think that, obviously I think the motivation for me was the commute into London, and so now instead of an hour and 45 journey commute, it's now down to on a good day it's down to like 35 minutes. That's on a good day, and on an average poor day it's about 45 minutes. So and a really bad day it's about 50 minutes, 55 minutes maybe, if it's like insane, like today I wouldn't say it's insane. It's obviously quite wet, bit of traffic coming out of London, but it's not always like that. So and then there's the cost saving. You're not spending like 300 or like 400 quid a month just to commute into work. Your only cost is fuel, and and that obviously just either depends on the bike you ride and the miles that you do. So and obviously your riding style and lots of other things that take into account fuel economy. But yeah, it's just fantastic. Once you're riding, the benefits are amazing. Especially compared to taking the train. And the other thing that really got me is, especially trains are always delayed. There's always something going on. There's always signalling problems. There's always a broken down train, or someone has horribly decided to jump in front of a train, which is absolutely awful. And it's just nice having your knowing that your own transport's there. You're not dependent on public transport to get you home, to the point where because it does leave you sometimes. Public transport does leave you stranded in London. It's left me stranded in London a number of times. So yeah, one thing I do find though, when I was learning, especially when I was learning how to ride right from the beginning, and this is why I think the CBT should be more than a day, although feel free to disagree with me, but I just think maybe it's just unique to me in the way that I learn. But I found that when I was learning how to ride my own bike, the CBF 125, when I got it, I would struggle one day with the gears, and but then I would then struggle with like hill starts and stuff. The next day, once I tried it again, it became easier. And there's something about tackling a problem and then not being able to do it right the first time, but then going to sleeping on it, and then trying it again, and you find you do it so much better. There's something about the way sleep works that that gets the brain, perhaps all the stuff you've learned on the day goes into short-term memory and then gets converted into long-term memory. But I certainly wasn't going to let it beat me. The fact that I'd come off once, which wasn't very pleasant. So that's pretty much my story. So what's your story? That's how I got into motorbiking. I do believe motorbiking can be very, very safe. I know there's this whole notion of, I've heard it so many times you know, they go, oh yeah, it's not you though, it's all the other drivers, you know. And I think, well, to a certain extent that's true. If you just look at just the way people are in general, I think generally people are quite logical, and when something happens that's unexpected, that's usually when accidents occur. So my rule of thumb is don't do anything that a driver wouldn't be expecting. That's generally how I play it. And it's about also being respectful on the road, you know. So you've got to love British weather, haven't you? British, lovely, raining, wet, miserable, wet weather. Raining all the time. And filtering. It's not that bad actually. And the rain begins again. Oh, lovely British weather. Oh no, it's getting heavier now. Now it feels like 2,000 mosquitoes are biting my arms all at once. Sorry, I'm doing my Jeremy Clarkson impression. In the world. Best motorbike in the world. The wettest journey in the world. Now I'm going to do my Gollum impression.
Stupid fat hobbit. Stupid fat hobbit. Must let the pink bus process by, precious.